Johnny Fontana, Half Amazing TV, back with another video.
If I might say so, you are a little bit of an iconic personality within the dance music and house music world right now. How often does it still happen to you that you go out to a night and you listen to a record and you go like, oh man, what is this?
Not as often as I would like, and certainly not as often as it used to be. I mean, the thing with DJ producers now, and I understand it to some degree, they spend so much time on the road DJing, they feel that that's where that they earn their money. But the reason that they're on the road DJing is because they made a great record. So if they continue to make great records, their profile will rise, their gigs will increase, their fees will increase. But it just seems that it's not, making great records is not the top priority for a lot of people, and I wish the balance was a little better. I think that the problem is people make records on their laptops while they're on the plane or in their hotel room, and I think it sounds like that. And I think that the general public know the difference between a record that's been well made and had time invested in it, and the records that are just made, while people are on the go. Those records serve a purpose and they're great DJ tools, but you need to punctuate them with records that are of a little bit of a higher caliber. That, I think, is what's lacking in the scene at the moment. So the answer to your question is, I used to go out and hear several records a night and I'd go, what is this? I need to know what this record is. Now I can go out for several nights and hear one record where I go, what this record is. And so the balance is just wrong.
Today is going to be a short video. I know someone asked me, hey, do a short video. Today's going to be a video on how to mix or edit, rather, the outro of a song, right? Because sometimes you have these songs that have these elements at the end, and it's like you want a good mix, but you can't get that mix, right? So it's like, yo, how do I get that, to fit in? So unfortunately, you actually have to use an external software program in order to edit it, and that's where like the sort of production aspect comes in, right? Whereas I'm not a producer, but however I understand the elements of the music in order to create these extensions, right? Now we're working with a song here. This is from one of my favorite all-time producers. His name is Claes Rosen, and his production is so amazing. He's like on that higher echelon of like producing melodic tech, house, a lot of the stuff that was influenced me in the 2007 2008 era of like that sort of smooth percussive tech house, which never really made it, but it transitioned over into progressive deep.
Mozart and Beethoven. That's good. I'm more interested in melody now. I think when I was younger I listened to a lot of bands either to learn how to write a song or how to produce a song, and once I kind of reached a sort of a saturation point of that kind of knowledge. It's not to say I can't learn anything else, but it was like I was sort of tapped out. I'm much more interested in high melody. And Mozart to me is high melody, Beethoven, Bach, it's high melody. Any guy with a guitar, that's the great thing, is any guy with a guitar or girl can write a pretty cool 3-chord song. If it's catchy enough, you get on the radio, great. That's the beginning. But after 25, 30 years, the only thing left for me to crack is the higher melody. I've written pop songs, I've written grunge anthems. I mean, to me, it's all just repetition. And so the great thing about the four of us is we can support that higher melody with new forms. So us, Oceania, is like the foundational layer of this higher music. The difficulty in the history of pop, unless you're the Beach Boys, which is probably, and maybe the Beatles are the only two examples, is that's the only two bands I can think of where super high melody meets pop. Generally speaking, the higher melody you go into, the less pop it becomes because it's just too weird for people. But if you listen to a song like "Wouldn't It Be Nice" by the Beach Boys, I mean that's like classical melody. So we like to think we can break through this other level and have high melody and have it be pop. So we're not interested in being obscure or arty, because the arty world's never going to accept me back in. It never accepted Pumpkins in the first place. The only kind of arty people that support the band really are people that grew up on the band and kind of appreciate the band. But it's not a critics band. It's more people's band. So.
I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly what we're working with here. So now here's the end, right? And it's like, dude, like, it's like you can't edit this. You know what I'm saying to you? It's like there's no way. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do, I'm gonna go ahead and let's go to a program. We'll edit it, but before we do that, let's go ahead and just take a ride, right? And just listen to the track first, right? Let's just listen to the track because it's a beautiful track. We're in Tampa. I know someone asked, about my personal life, so we're gonna go ahead and do a Sunday drive in my GS300, okay, that I customized on my own. I had it painted, dropped it, got the wheels and everything. And we're in Tampa, right? Sunny Tampa, Florida. So let's take it for a drive and listen to this song, right? Let's go. All right, so now here comes to the editing part. Now again, it's one of those tracks that I really, really love, and you're gonna see how just using the CDJs or tractor to loop wouldn't cut it. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to stretch it, do the beat map, which is to get it right on point using that wizard. See how the beats. Now I'm going to make sure that everything is aligned properly. So we have the starting point there, but you see how the lines are off a little bit. So I had to stretch that to ensure that the lines are together. So watch. Well, not together, but on the beginning of the sample. See? So now it's even. So now everything is going to be aligned when I loop everything. And everything sounds good. All right. So now give you an idea of what I'm working with here. So here's the tail end. See, again, it has all that melody. So now I'm gonna have to find a nice spot to loop it. See, on this particular one, it's not perfect. But in my other one, the lines actually match up to the beats. So I'm finding the one that works, where there's minimal melody. It's gonna be kind of hard anyway, but you'll see what I'll do to it. So I think I found one here. Just test it out. It works, and then I'll show you how it came out to be here. So now I had to double it up and basically loop. This is what it sounds like. Now I also had to use some sample in order to keep the rhythm, because that loop by itself just didn't sound right. So instead of just adding it at the end, I added it throughout the whole entire song. But I also panned it to 33% left so that it wouldn't clash with the other elements. I also added the ambiance reverb to give a little bit more air and width, and I used it throughout the entire song. So now it became a part of the song now. That's what it sounds like with the song, without the song. And here's going towards the end of the start of the loop. Damn. Now I have a riser right there, riser effects, so that it can accentuate the transition going into that loop, because you don't want it to sound abrupt, right? Again, this is all part of production, minor production. See? And then it goes into the loop. That's what the riser sounds like alone, and then it goes into it. Obviously this is an old software, but guess what, I'm not a producer. I use what I use just for the basics, and this is for me just the basic. So this is what it sounds like in a loop. Now on Tractor or on a CDJ I can loop this part, but you don't want to half bake your production. So this is how I ensured that I took it out with some filtering, low pass filtering, because again you don't want to end your mix because you may not be able to loop it, so you may forget to loop it for whatever reason, so you want to be able to have it that it ends on its own. And that's when I edited it. All right, so now that you actually saw how everything was edited, right? I showed you how everything, now I have the actual Claes Rosen Fieldglass original JF extended, so I extended it, right, Johnny Fontana, and we're gonna go ahead and mix it with another song, okay? So let's go ahead and show you how all this works as it pertains. Now, again, the reason why I edited it is because I don't want to be fumbling with the right song in order to make it work, because there's just so much going on. It's too busy. I don't want the sound clashing, and I want an ease of mix, right? I'm all about less is more, right? The less chaos, the less, elements you have, uh, the better and the more quality you have. So let's go ahead and start mixing it. Moving it up just for time purposes. Slowly bring it in. Let the music do the talking. It's not dragging so much. You see? The elements, let them do the talking. Start bringing it down. In any case, if you bring it too far and you lose the music, bring it back in a little bit, and then start back again on your retreat. But remember, with the music, so when that next phrase comes in and all the elements, then I start to switch this one. Listen. With the music. So there you go. So that's basically it, right? What we did was that I had to do the outro. Like I had to, because if not, like I would never be able to use the song. And I love this track. I think it's one of my favorite tracks right now. I don't get emotionally attached to songs for long periods, which means that like I'll come back to a song. So I have my favorite songs, but they are like in the moment, favorites. So like now, this is my in the moment favorite. It's always going to be my favorite, but I put it like on my top shelf now, but it's always in my shelf. Like I'm a collector, like I collect sneakers. So that's why it's like, it's one of those things where like all the stuff that I collect is all my favorites. So I have favorites, but I'll just move them to the top shelf. You see what I'm saying to you? But like, okay, this is the top shelf. This is all my favorite. This is all the best, all quality, but I'm just moving it to the top shelf. And then it may go down to the bottom shelf, or maybe, here, and then it'll come back eventually depending on how I feel. But they all make the shelf. If they're on that shelf, they're all quality. And both of these tracks are one of my favorite tracks, but it just depends on the time of the year that when you want to play it. Again, I'm not going to play this in the dead of winter. You got to be careful, not to play certain things depending on the season, right? I'm very seasonal when it comes to music and so forth and so on. That's why you have to have a lot of music. Again, that's part of the whole element of DJing, right? It's not only just, hey, I'm going to take two songs and put them together. It's like, well, that's more like a summer track, right? Let's go ahead and just do some summer vibes, and just when it comes to winter, put away those sort of summer vibes. And like, you don't want to be everyone in their leather jacket, right? And it's cold and it's crispy outside, and you're playing some love summer vibe, songs. Like, it just doesn't make sense, right? So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. It's a short one. Johnny Fontana, Half Amazing TV. We out.